Hello everyone, this is Sylvie Close, and I would like to go over the April 8th patch notes for Mechabreak. This will be a little bit of a read over as opposed to a big analysis of it. We're going to cover striker balance first. They've adjusted the complex shield angle, so it's 60 degrees to 40 degrees. This way melees aren't as easily countered whenever you use that. They've also decided to nerf a lot of the terrain stats based on each striker's compatibility. It's pretty good, I would say, because a lot of people don't even look at adaptability. They also made it so units like Sky Raider can actually transform underwater now. Solaris received a few different changes between a faster boost attack speed, less energy costs for its boost attack, increased damage for its basic attacks, and its downward slash has been increased as well. They reduced the energy consumption of its sidearm and also increased the plunging strike damage as well. Its rapid slashes can't be parried by shields, and the damage range has been slightly increased. The spinning slash startup has been reduced by 0.1 seconds, and the interval between the two spinning slashes has been shortened. Solaris has been struggling a little bit securing some kills, so they decided to increase its overall damage and gave it a little bit more engage potential by reducing energy consumption. Elusiveness received a few changes as well. The reticle size has been increased a little bit, so it's easier to target enemies. Now, when you use your energy autocannon, the recovery time is reduced a little bit, so you could follow it up with more shots or charge your shots even faster. The sidearm, the sword, has been adjusted a little bit. When you purge your armor, that's what it's referring to. The attack speed is faster, and the energy cost has also been reduced. When you're in your armored form, the battle halberd has a faster boost speed, and it also has reduced energy cost. It also has received a decreased attack delay for the second and third slashes for the halberd, and its Gauss cannon has traveled increased projectile travel speed. Elusiveness got it similar to Solaris, where they gave it the potential to continuously engage or have more opportunities to engage with a lot of reduced energy costs. Basically, a lot of quality of life is what we're seeing. Panther's lock-on time has been reduced. It can lock onto enemies faster. When its energy is depleted, it can regen it at a more efficient rate. The Lance's instant damage has been increased from 7,000 to 20,000. This means you get a lot more instant burst, which is great. If you don't charge the Lance, the Shield Blade will allow faster follow-up Lance attacks as well. It looks like they're trying to look for more potential combo potential. The Shield Blade, as similar to Elusiveness and Solaris, has a faster boost attack speed and reduced energy startup cost. And you can finally use this booster kit while you're immobilized to further protect yourself if you are being focused on. Welkin has received some changes as well. Similar to Panther, its lock-on time has been reduced by 0.2 seconds. Its battle axe, similar to the other melees, has been reduced for its startup energy cost. And when it is spinning, it can finally slowly lift itself up into the air. The Howitzer has received a slight buff, increasing its damage per shot, and its defense field now gives itself fluid armor regen, increased by 100%. And skills will not be interrupted during immobilization. You might jump the gun and think that this is a insanely good buff for Welkin, but I will remind you that the patch before this, they reduced Welkin's point capture potential by allowing you to interrupt it easier. So this leans more into the fact that Welkin wants to brawl more, wants to fight, wants to TBM more, wants to secure more kills. Freyr received a change to its Ox 3, its Phantom Jetwing. Its instant regen has been increased to 80%, and its cooldown refunded has been adjusted a little bit. 1 second cooldown for each second ended early, so the cooldown range can range between 11 to 22 seconds, its duration has been increased slightly. Now, I understand that some people might think that Freyr needs to get nerfed. However, Freyr is at its strongest when it uses its Aux 3. Without its Aux 3, it can struggle a little bit on the field, and it's pretty easy to focus down, so please do not jump the gun in regards to these buffs. Mecha has been adjusted a little bit for its grab. When it uses its Aux 1 to capture a target and cross the Grayson Sky City map boundary, the capture will be automatically interrupted. This won't stop it from still getting some really cheesy kills, but it will help mitigate it, but I think they're missing a lot of issues with Mecha still. Alfred has been adjusted. Its air energy regen for its Aux 2 Rapid Assault mode has been increased, and its Electro Trail, its melee damage hitting missile, has been reduced for its angle. But its collision detection range has been increased, so its accuracy for close range releases has overall been improved. Sky Raider has received some buffs, between its lock-on time being reduced, its energy regen when depleted also being increased, its energy missiles have a lower charge time, but its damage has been nerfed a little bit accordingly. Its jamming missile has an increased lock-on range, and its missile dispenser has also reduced charge time, but in exchange its missile damage has been reduced per shot. Whether or not some of these buffs will be good or not, I'm not quite certain. However, I think it is funner to play a unit with lower charge times, and it feels more impactful to use your abilities more than the very high cooldowns that Sky Raider had. Welkin, this has actually been a interesting change that I've seen people want. They wanted the bipedal form to have increased single shot damage. This means when you are not in flight mode, which is technically a bipedal form, but we're not gonna stress about that, you will do more damage to enemies. The cooldown for the recon kit has been reduced by 6 seconds, and you will now be refunded 1.5 seconds of cooldown for each second ended early. So now the cooldown can range between 8 to 30 seconds to 8 to 24 seconds. This is a good change because its recon kit was obscenely long, and there are plenty of instances where when you need the recon kit, it's just simply not available. The change to the bipedal form is largely negligible, especially if you are a good Falcon and you're good at managing your energy. You should basically always be in flight mode. For Serenith, your Corite Jammer has been nerfed, where you now have a longer cooldown overall for its Aux Jammer if you end it early. This means it has to be more careful when using its Aux 2, has to be a little more conservative, and it also means it will be more vulnerable to attacks. Pinnock has received an adjustment to its energy regen when depleted. This is the common theme that we're seeing throughout this patch, where 35% is now 48%, and the depletion regen duration has been reduced by 1 whole second. Stego has received some buffs between more efficient energy regen on the ground when depleted, and an improved fluid armor regen as well. Its turret form has a slightly increased angle, and the horizontal rotation angle has been increased slightly. This is good because Stego definitely needed a little bit of help. It looked like it wasn't going to get any buffs because Tricera was hogging all the buffs. Speaking of Tricera, it has also been buffed. It has better energy regen on the ground. Its Gatling gun has been greatly improved in terms of damage, which is very important. And the predictive angle is better, so its accuracy against long-range units is more efficient. The heavy Gatling gun, the sidearm, has also improved accuracy as well. Between the two Ultra Heavies, having better energy regen on the ground is great, because moving on the ground with how slow these two are has always been really bad. The Gatling gun having increased damage is great. It's very easy to dodge Tricera's gun, and it doesn't really have a lot of oomph in its guns. So this is a good change for Tricera. Hurricane's Ox 2 was way too strong, so they decided to nerf it. This is a turret drone. They buffed it last patch. Narukami, Nort, and Hell have received the similar energy regen depletion buff. Basically, in this patch, it looks like they wanted to make it so you could get in the fight faster. You don't have to be as conservative about your energy, and if you run out, it will regen at a more efficient pace. They're hoping, it seems like, to increase the speed of the battle by giving you more energy gauge, more energy bars. They also did a lot of changes to mechabreak as well, a lot of adjustments. They decided to issue a fair play statement for mechabreak. Basically, they want to enforce measures to keep players from teaming. If you don't know what this is in this context, it means that teaming up with other players in mechabreak PvP will basically give you an unfair advantage toward people who are solo. Like if you play all solo, free for all, you could team up with like another random dude and you could just double team like anybody else you run into. You could team with another team and then it turns a 3v3 into a 6v6 and you just do that for the rest of the match. I don't know how they're going to exactly enforce this, especially because people have been reported in mechabreak and they haven't done shit for them. But anyway, that's like a personal grievance that I have. And we will see what happens. They have done a lot of stuff with the mods. As you can see, there are 13 new entry types added. You can now get mods for overall damage, different types of damage, overall defense, shields, energy, cooldown, and there's explanations for this, like this striker's overall defense against ballistic and energy and blast and physical. Shields that includes like Elysinus's complex shield, Tricera's form module, Hurricane's defense field drone, etc. Repairs so healers are more effective. Overall energy costs, so all of a striker's energy consumption. Air, ground, movement, melee, all of that is buffed, or rather added to the mod categories. And you can basically obtain these the same way that you could normally. Mod box, mod assemblies. The mod value adjustments have also been adjusted. The value range for each mod tier has been redefined, so higher tier mods now have a proper greater entry value than lower tier mods. Adjustments to the above value ranges and basic entry values take effect simultaneously for players currently owned and equipped mods. So basically, all of the mods that you own right now will be recalculated and adjusted based on these new rules. They don't want old mods grandfathered in. They want them to comply with the current changes with the mods. Gliders, modular weapons, and airdrop devices have been adjusted between better handling of the glider enhancement pack, boosted firepower of the sniper pack, and overall improved defensive performance of modular weapons and increased durability of the airdrop devices. Through the enhancement pack, the sidearm now counts as a recoil upon release, and releasing the heavy howitzer no longer affects movement. And its micro missile has better missile trajectory after the launch. The sniper pack has received a shorter reload time for its beam cannon, increased damage as well. The multi-lock hit lasts a little bit longer, and the cooldown has been reduced by 2 seconds. And if you end it early, you get 2.5 seconds per cooldown returned. The jamming missile for the glider. It has been reduced for its firing interval so you can fire it faster, and it has a bigger reticle size. The sniper charge kit has also a reduced cooldown so you can use it more frequently. Autocannons received a lot of changes. Modular weapons received a lot of changes between increased damage for the autocannon, as you can see, increased damage for the Gatling gun, the charged beam cannon close range mode, shooting interval has been reduced, and the level 1 through 6 damage has also been increased as well. Hold on, that's all fucked up. Hold on, okay. The charged beam cannon received these changes, and the Gatling gun just got damage buffs. The twin rocket launcher has been increased in damage along with the light missile launcher, and the hex missile launcher's ammo capacity has been increased. Overall, you're getting buffs for every single thing listed here between damage or other mechanics. The complex shield has an increased shield capacity, and the shield regen for every single level has been increased as well. The defense field also received a similar buff where its entire defensive suite has been increased, and its force field regen has also been increased as well. You can now have more optical camera drones with you, increased by 4 across all levels. The stasis field has also an increased capacity, and the duration has been standardized to 4 seconds across all levels. As you can see, the airdrop devices have all received substantial durability buffs, basically twice the amount of HP that they had except for the decoy beacon, which is 50% more durability. The marketplace has been adjusted, so now you can list completed rare and lower tier mods. So you can sell mods better, supporting selling mods more efficiently. They changed mod to supply, and paint kit has been changed from paint to supply in terms of their categories. They've decided to do some changes, such as inventory can support. You can basically buy more inventory with Corite or credit. It's not worth it to buy with Corite, I'm just gonna say that flat out. The credit cap is modified to 10 million. They also adjusted Aquila's multi-lock radar, where if you use the beam cannon in sniper mode, it would sometimes result in shooting 2 quick consecutive shots at the target. And similarly, with the gliders, with the multi-lock kit, the beam cannon could also accidentally trigger a double beam shot as well. So they've adjusted and fixed both of those issues. Some system changes, I don't really know why they just called it system, but I guess I could for some of these. They adjusted Verge and Ace Arena. No longer will mods be available in casual mode, and in Ace Arena, you won't get modular weapon crates anymore. It is more of a standardized TDM experience. In mechabreak, when you execute someone, you will know, or rather if you get executed, mods will no longer be lost or dropped. Single ammo stack size limit has been increased, doubled, and ammo in inventory will not have its stack size updated automatically. You're gonna have to do that on your own. Mechabreak's free-for-all on normal and extreme difficulty also drops the restricted zone key, which means you could fight those tough bosses even more. The optimized terrain detection for mechabreak drop air device deployment. You can now summon it normally on water surfaces and certain sloped rugged terrain, improving the areas in which you can actually summon at. Missions. They've adjusted the PvP weekly mission system with more general missions, so it lowers the completion threshold. They changed some of the mission requirements involving map-specific actions from being restricted to a single striker to all strikers, such as the key upload, the pilot any striker to upload keys, etc. Missions involving accumulating medals, those are still with specific strikers, but they can be completed in Ace Arena or Operation Verge. That's fine. Anyway, that's the end of the patch notes. So basically, kind of like a TLDR, their focus is for better playability, a better overall piloting experience for a lot of these strikers. So a lot of like the average player, they struggle a lot to play melee because it has a really crazy amount of energy management that you have to take into account that may make the striker feel slow, That may make it so you're playing like this cool, badass close range unit, but you have to be very mindful of your engages. They wanted to give a lot of them across the board the ability to engage and brawl more. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Units like Stellaris, especially after the changes they did where they split the direct damage and into fluid armor, they buffed its damage because it was having a hard time like securing some kills. So overall, I think that this is good. I don't know how I feel about the rapid slashes and how it can't be parried by shields anymore. So I'm not really sure what to think about that. The downward slashes are probably one of the most effective one of the most effective tools that a melee has. So these are very strong changes for Stellaris. Very good buffs. Elyseness has classically suffered from a lot of energy issues, so these are a significantly big energy cost reduction for the initial boost, so I'm going to expect that Elyseness is going to be able to move through the battlefield better. But overall, it looks like their focus is making it so players can actively engage and fight enemies more frequently, as opposed to having to buy their time and attack every now and then and worry about running out of energy. I think that this would make the overall experience for most players more smooth, a lot more enjoyable and fun, and I think it would actually increase the pace of battles in terms of like the melees by making it so they can engage more. It will feel more high octane as they advertise. I don't think these are necessarily bad changes. I think these are good changes for Welkin. I think. Not bad. He kind of got nerfed before. He wants to brawl. They made him brawl more. Sky Raider, I think, will be pretty interesting to see how much this will affect it. I think a Sky Raider will be funner to play because these are good changes to its cooldowns. I think it'll be funner to be able to use your abilities more. As to the reduced efficacy of these abilities, we will have to see what happens. Falcon's changes, overall good. Not really going to use biped form that much. I'm not really covering all of these because I'm not super familiar with every single striker and I don't want to provide misinformation. Just some very light opinions, and if you disagree, that's perfectly fine with me. We were also basically seeing a lot of energy regen improved when they've lost their energy. So I think this is going to be great because it's going to allow people to get their boost back, move around faster, engage things at a more efficient rate, and overall, mobility and movement is going to be increased for the game, and I think that's pretty important. Because there are a lot of complaints that I've heard that the game kind of feels a little bit slow-paced, despite like what it advertises itself to be. Some strikers feel like they really suffer from this, that they're slow, but they are way too slow. Stego and Tricera being prime culprits for their mobility just being so poor. There's a tech called air drifting, but we shouldn't have to rely on using a tech like that if the game is properly balanced and properly adjusted. So air drifting is an extremely energy efficient way to move around the battlefield, but hopefully the energy regen changes like Tricera and Stego help mitigate that, and it makes it a lot better. Overall, I think the balance changes are good, but I definitely think that it shows that they're leaning more towards the casual crowd as opposed to like the higher tier crowd. I think a lot of these changes, especially if you are a high tier player and you really enjoy like more challenging experiences, I think this will overall not be conducive to that experience, because part of the skill expression you may enjoy is like the energy management and having to pick proper, more opportune times to attack, as opposed to what it may feel like the game is trending to, which is more action more frequently. For me personally, I think people being able to attack and move more frequently will lead to like a funner gameplay, and I think more people will probably enjoy playing the game if they are not limited to waiting. Because overall, a lot of people, they don't like waiting, especially if they want to kind of get like a little bit of power fantasy with their mecha. And what is mecha if not for the power fantasy of being able to control your giant fighting robot and do a lot of cool actions in it? Mashmac, I'm not a big Mashmac player, but it looks like they've done a lot of changes that leans more towards PvE content. I think they've basically given up trying to balance Mashmac around PvP because they don't have separate balancing for strikers. I think a lot of this is basically like, okay, we're putting all of these changes, we're buffing all of these weapons for the better PvE experience. I think we're now seeing that they are understanding that maybe we want more PvE Mashmac. Maybe that's one of the tickets. I think that is a good thing, especially because a lot of enemies can tend to be pretty HP spongy, especially if you're running solo and covert, because they haven't properly adjusted the solo experience on that. The only thing they need to do is allow people to queue up with random people in like a matchmaking situation for covert, and I think PvE and Mashmac will improve immensely. But overall, it looks like, I'm not a big Mashmac player, but it looks like a lot of quality of life improvements have hit Mashmac. Between increased damage, so you kill enemy mobs faster, and more streamlined, efficient gliders. It seems like it's pretty good to me. I'm not an expert on Mashmac. You can't really quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But in regards to the striker balances and striker changes and things like that, overall, I'm not unsurprised with the direction that they're going. And I think overall this is good. Overall. But there is definitely the concern that people who have a hard time dealing with melee might find themselves getting destroyed by melee even more, because this is the melee patch of Mechabreak. It might be pretty rough for people who are playing Mechabreak, who struggle with melee this patch, but we will have to see what people's experiences are. I'm not versed enough in melee to really tell you this is too OP, this is too broken, but from a completely newbie perspective, I like the energy costs being reduced, and I think that will lead to a better melee experience for the average player. Anyway, that was covering the patch. We'll see what happens. Good night, everyone. See you next time.